Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Cheers for Charity New Hampshire. We have another great one today. We're going to start off by welcoming my dear friend, Joanne. Hey, Joanne.
Hi, Lisa. Good to see you. Hi, I'm Joanne Perchuk with Lighthouse Physical Therapy. And today we would love to welcome to our show Jenn, who is with the Working Dog Foundation. And we're so excited to have you here today. So please feel free to introduce yourself. Tell us then a little bit about the organization.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me, Lisa and Joanne. Excuse me. The Working Dog Foundation is a nonprofit 501c3 foundation. We help raise funds for the care and training of the police canines. We have 8 municipal police canine teams that currently train with us at the New Hampshire Police Canine Academy. Our academy is located in multiple locations. We have satellite locations that we train at, and then we also have a more semi-permanent location that we train at here in Deerfield.
So tell us a little bit about how you guys got started with this.
Okay. In 1999, a small group of New Hampshire officers recognized the need for ongoing and consistent training. And with that commitment in mind, along with the desire to help other departments, they wanted to form and operate a canine unit while utilizing the most modern and effective training methods available. At that time, the foundation was incorporated as the 501c3 nonprofit organization to support and enhance the New Hampshire Police Canine teams.
And since then, like how many, because I think one of the things I got off your website too is, the need is so great because of budget cuts in the area. A lot of the police departments, the first thing to go is the canine. And these are working dogs that perform such an important function in our safety and our community. And can you talk a little bit more about what they do and just how important they are for our community?
Sure. So they are very important to the community, as you stated, Joanne. They are really the best tool that an officer can have at their hip. A lot of times, as you also mentioned, in a police department, especially small municipal towns, the first line item, if you will, in their budget to be cut is usually the police canine line item. So what we do is by fundraising and creating events for people to attend and doing the fundraising, we're able to help provide some small teams with grants so that they can, if they don't have the money in their budget to start a canine team, we can grant them a dog and they would train with us. And that would allow the small team to get started, and then they would do their training with us, get their certification through us, and then do their in-service training with us as well.
So when a dog's a police dog, what kind of things do they do for the community? Like, what's a typical call for a police dog? What are some of the calls they would get where they would provide value to the officers and to the community?
So some of the calls are, unfortunately, they're all kind of crime-ish related. So there's like domestic violence calls. Sometimes they can utilize the dog for apprehension. There's narcotics tracking, patrol tracking. And then we also do, sorry, I just drew a blank. We also do, so we do patrol, narcotics, and civilian apprehension. So if there was someone that had a high-speed chase and then they fled on foot or something and they went into the woods or swamp, and the officers who were attending that chase were not able to locate the subject, then they might call in a canine team, and then our canine team would come in and follow up on the tracking of the individual. And the dogs do that just by the scent we all leave like a scent as we walk around. So as they follow that scent and track, they could go into the swamp or the woods or wherever they might be, and bring the officer to the suspect so that they could potentially make the arrest. Or, sometimes it's not even an arrest and it's not criminal, it's just there's a lost person. It could be a child or an elderly person, somebody maybe with dementia or something like that. Our teams could be called in to assist with that kind of a track as well.
And you said there's 8 teams right now? Is that correct in the state?
Yes, currently we have 18.
That's awesome. Are there more people who want to have teams, but there's no cost for them, that there's, you're still waitlisted? Or is that sort of the current threshold of requests that already exists?
Right now, that's where we're at. We just brought on another team. So we have teams from Rochester. We have 2 in Wells, Maine now. We just brought on a second team from Wells. We have Barrington, Keene, Milford, and Bristol, and Alton. So right now, there's not a lot of departments that are looking for police canines. They've kind of taken the other route and some have gone towards the comfort dog route. So we don't unfortunately train the comfort dogs, we train the actual police dogs. So, the demand is a little bit less than what it used to be. We are trying to work on, and that's, one of the reasons we're attending this today is because we're trying to work on getting our name back out there, shedding the light on what it is that we do and how we can help the communities that are local to us that may need, some assistance starting up a team, and then getting through the training and getting certifications so they can be on the street.
I love that there's a
Yeah.
dog barking in the background.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry.
awesome. That's the best. Are there certain breeds that make really good working dogs? Like, what are the common ones that are these teams are using?
Yeah. So the common breeds that we currently use, we have German Shepherds, we have Belgian Malinois, we had a Bloodhound. We don't have a Bloodhound anymore. We had a Black Lab, but we don't have that anymore. So those are really the breeds that we tend to use. Those 4 breeds. It doesn't mean that there's a breed that couldn't be a police dog. I mean, really, it's all in the training, right? So if you're training the handler, which is the hardest part of the training, and then you're training the dog, you can really take any breed and train them to do what our dogs do for those departments.
Fascinating.
Does the request generally start from the actual police department and saying, this is what we would really like to have in our department, whether they actually have a trained handler, but they're the ones that typically initiate the need. And then my second question to that is, once they would make a request, like, how long does it take to train a dog to be able to go out in the field?
So the first part of your question is, yes, it does usually start with the department. Sometimes it starts with the handler. Sometimes it'll start with a police chief if they're familiar with the Working Dog Foundation and what we do. We've had a couple of chiefs contact us. And then we've also had handlers contact us, or those that want to be handlers contact us and say, hey, we're interested in starting a new team or starting a team. What do we need to do? How can we join your department, your training academy, and what is it that you train for? So we've had a couple of those recently, but this scenario was a little bit different. So it just, the type of training they were looking for wasn't what we provided. It is what we're looking into to provide a little bit more to add to our bucket list of things that we do. But it's currently, something that we don't do. So we had to kind of refer them out. So the second part of your question, as far as how long it takes to train up, that depends on the dog and the handler. Sometimes most of the times it's about a year that it takes to get fully trained up and fully certified. And then once they're certified, they can go out onto the streets, if you will, and patrol or do narcotics detection. All of our teams are certified through USPCA, which is the United States Police Canine Academy. And there's certain criteria and credentials that they need to have or complete in order to be quote unquote fully trained and released to patrol.
How many trainers do you have to train these dogs?
So we have a head trainer who has been a trainer, and he was also a police officer and canine handler for many, many years. And we have him as a head trainer, that's John Usher. And then we have an academy director who is a trainer, and that's Jason Palmer. Then we have a narcotics trainer, which is Adam Shaw in Wells, Maine. And then we have patrol dog trainer, Mike Barrett with Milford, New Hampshire.
Amazing. How
And
old?
they all have to, so again, that criteria, so you have to, and don't put me on the criteria because I can't remember off the top of my head, but you have to have had like a certain number of years under your belt as a canine handler before you can be trained up as a trainer and certified as a trainer. And all of our trainers are also certified through the USPCA as well.
How old are the dogs when they're trained? Like, what's the right age to train a dog?
So we've had dogs that are been started training as puppies, and then we've had dogs that started training like 2-3 years old. At puppies, typically you have to, it's best to get about a year under, you know, for the obedience training and the basics and everything with the dog. Canine Ripley is a perfect example of starting young as a puppy. She's with Rochester Police Department, Officer Hatch, and he got her right when she was like 12 weeks old, I think, and he started bringing her to our training sessions on Mondays and started working with her for obedience and, you know, just the basic commands and all of that. And now she's fully certified and she's out on the streets, and she's been with us since 12 weeks old, and I think she's close to 2 years old now.
Mhm. Wow, incredible.
Yeah.
And I had a question as far as like even the demographics of an area. Is there a certain type of demographics that lends itself more to be utilizing a canine dog more than another?
Well, our demographics are pretty spread out as far as the 8 teams that we have. I think it depends on the department and what they're trying to offer to the community. It's not necessarily what the demographics of that community may or may not be. You know, we have, like I said, Rochester, Wells, Barrington, Keene, Milford, Bristol, and Alton. And if you think of those communities, they're all very different, you know, as far as what demographics they may have or what they may offer. And it really just is up to the department of what they're trying to offer in the community.
And I think actually I didn't necessarily mean demographics because that doesn't sound right. More like I guess types of issues of a community, you know, if there's areas that maybe are seeing an uptick in more drug use, and so they're going to need narcotics dogs, or if they're near, I don't know, you know, I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, and I mean, it very well could be that. You know, I don't want to point out any particular communities, but there are some communities that, you know, do have higher crime rates or, you know, higher DVs or, you know, like I said, higher drug rates. But whether they're getting a dog because of that or to deter that, you know, again, that's really on the department of what they're trying to offer to the community. I mean, the dogs really, like I said, they really are the best tool that a handler can have on their tool belt, because not only can they go search and find people as needed, either a suspect or a lost person, but they're a great deterrent. So if the officer is called to a situation and say it's a DV, and DV is domestic violence, I'm sorry, make sure.
Okay.
So if they're called to the situation, they can say that they have, they'll make their announcement that, it's such and such police department, and we have a canine, and, we're going to release the canine if you don't come out, type thing. A lot of times once they make that announcement, the person will give up, or they'll come out of hiding, or, either because they're afraid of dogs, or they don't want to get bit, or they don't want to be on the other end of that leash. Because when you're on the other end of that leash, it's very loud. They're barking like crazy, and they're very worked up, and it's very intimidating. So they're a great deterrent for that reason. And a lot of times they don't even need to send in the dog. They just need to announce the dog is there. The people hear the dog, and then the dog is like, okay, let's go back, and they get their toy or their treat, because everything is positive reinforcement for our dogs. So if they have a find, the handler will take them back, and they'll give them a ball or a toy or a tug or something to play with, after. And the dog just thinks it's a game. They don't have there's no negative reward or no negative impact at all. It's all positive reward for them. So it's a lot of fun for the dogs. That's all I think it is, but it's a lot of work for the handlers.
Right. But it's what a way to be able to settle something peacefully, right? And keep the officers in a place that may be more safe, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And I think, that's if a dog can do that and, help protect our officers, right? I think that's really important. So there's so much information here. What are the things that people can do to learn more about the Working Dog Foundation, or what are the things that you need as the Working Dog Foundation?
So one thing that we're working on is trying to enhance our volunteer base and also our corporate sponsorship base, to try to help boost the funds so that our goal for 2024 is we would like to find a location that we can either land and we can put, a building on it of some sort, like a, I don't know, modular home or something, with some kennels, and then a training site. We want to find a home. We want to make a home base so that we can then in turn hold events there or hold seminars for other police departments that may, want to see what we're about. We can handle small seminars where we can bring in trainers or speakers or something like that and be able to hold a small seminar. So that's our goal for 2024, is to find a home base. The problem with that is, we need to be able to put a building on it, but it needs to be like 5 acres at least, so that we can build the proper training field for the dogs. So really those are our things that we're working on this upcoming year. And to find out more about it, you can go on to our website, which is workingcanine.org, or to our Facebook page, which is Working Dog Foundation. And there's always ways to message us, to get in contact with us on our website. There's ways to sponsor. You would just, click on the link there and you can sponsor us. Some people like to do donations, in memory of someone, say they lost a canine or something like that. We've gotten donations for that as well.
That's a really nice thought, to celebrate your fur baby, right? With by supporting a working dog, right? Oh, this is wonderful. I've really enjoyed listening to more about this. Joanne, any other last minute follow-ups?
No, I was just going to say how much I love what you guys are doing and the support that you're giving our community, because you hear of lost children and different ways that these dogs are helping our community in so many different ways. So it's great that you guys are providing the resources to the police departments to be able to afford this extra resource to have with them to keep everybody a little safer.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure. And if there's anything that you guys need, just reach out for sure.
Well, thank you. Take care, Jen.